Wimbledon 2026 starts today, on the same grass where Nick Kyrgios played a Grand Slam final 4 years ago. He is not in the singles draw. Wimbledon denied him a singles wildcard this year, despite that 2022 final appearance, and instead gave the spots to players like Stan Wawrinka and Grigor Dimitrov. Kyrgios only has a doubles wildcard, partnering Alexander Bublik, and even that came with a warning sign. 2 weeks ago, he withdrew ahead of his first-round match at the Halle Open with a right knee injury, just days after pulling out of the Stuttgart doubles quarterfinals, also with Bublik, due to a separate physical issue. As of July 2026, his singles ranking is number 899 in the world. In 2016, that ranking was number 13. This is the story of how a teenager with one of the best serves anyone had ever seen turned into the most talked about underachiever in tennis, and why a decade later, he's still trying to prove there's one good run left in his body. Nick Kyrgios was born in Canberra in April 1995 to a Greek father and a Malaysian mother, and grew up playing both tennis and basketball before committing fully to tennis as a teenager. His real introduction to the tennis world came at Wimbledon in 2014. Ranked number 144 and given a wild card, the 19-year-old beat 13th seed Richard Gasquet in 5 sets, saving 9 match points along the way. In the next round, he faced world number 1 Rafael Nadal on center court and won in 4 sets, 7-6, 5-7, 7-6, 6-3, becoming the first male Wimbledon debutant to reach the quarterfinals since Florian Mayer in 2004, and the first player other than Lleyton Hewitt to beat Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, all in his first career meeting with each of them. By 2015, he'd reached the Australian Open quarterfinals at home, the first teenager to do that at the year's first major since 1990, beaten there by Andy Murray. By October 2016, at age 21, he hit a career-high ranking of world number 13. The ATP would later rate his serve as the 5th best in the history of men's professional tennis. Faster first serve points won than peak Djokovic or peak Federer, topping out around 230 kilometers per hour. He also became known for one of the sport's more unusual shots. At the 2019 Mexican Open in Acapulco facing Nadal, he played tennis's first widely seen underarm serve in a high-profile match, a tactic he said he used specifically because he was struggling to win points against Nadal any other way. What happened over the next several years is the part most casual fans actually remember. In 2015 at the Rogers Cup in Montreal, Kyrgios told opponent Stan Wawrinka, on court and within earshot of the crowd, a personal insult involving Wawrinka's girlfriend and another player, a comment so far over the line that the ATP fined him $10,000 and suspended him for 28 days, later reduced on appeal. In 2016 at the Shanghai Masters, he was filmed appearing to give up mid-match against Misha Zverev, prompting the ATP to fine him $25,000 for lack of effort, one of several tanking allegations that followed him through his 20s. At the 2019 Italian Open, he smashed 2 rackets and threw a chair onto the court, drawing another fine and a suspended ban. By his own later account, the public version of Kyrgios, volatile, disrespectful, wasting his talent, was only part of what was actually happening. Kyrgios stopped representing Australia in the Davis Cup after 2019, citing what he felt was disrespectful treatment from some Australian fans, and stayed away from the competition for 6 years. He agreed to return in early 2025 under captain Lleyton Hewitt, but withdrew before the tie against Sweden with an abdominal injury picked up in his first tournament back after 18 months away. In the 2023 Netflix series Breakpoint, Kyrgios spoke openly for the first time about depression and suicidal thoughts that had affected him for years, including during the period when the media was mainly covering his on-court outbursts. In a 2023 interview with Piers Morgan, he discussed those mental health struggles in more detail, along with his recovery and the role his now fiancé and his support network played in it. The same period also included a legal matter. In 2021, during an argument with former girlfriend Chiara Passari in Canberra, Kyrgios was involved in an incident that led to a common assault charge. He pleaded guilty in the ACT Magistrates Court and received a conditional release without a recorded conviction. He has spoken about the incident publicly as something he deeply regrets. All of this makes 2022 the strangest year of his career, because it's also the best one. In January, he and fellow Australian Thanasi Kokkinakis won the Australian Open men's doubles title, Kyrgios' first Grand Slam trophy of any kind. behind. At Wimbledon that July, he beat Paul Jubb in 5 sets, picking up a $10,000 fine for spitting toward a spectator and verbally confronting a line judge in the same match, then beat 26th seed Filip Krajinovic and 4th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas back-to-back, then Brandon Nakashima in 5 sets to reach his first major quarterfinal since 2015. A walkover from an injured Nadal sent him straight into the final, where he lost to Djokovic in 4 tight sets, 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 7-6. He didn't fade after that final. 3 weeks later, he won the City Open in Washington, beating Yoshihito Nishioka in the final without having his serve broken all week, his first ATP singles title in 3 years. He then beat world number 1 Daniil Medvedev at the Canadian Open. At the US Open, he beat Medvedev again in the 3rd round before a knee injury affected him in a 3-hour 39-minute 5-set quarterfinal loss to Karen Khachanov. "I feel like I've just failed at this event right now," he told reporters afterward. By the end of 2022, his doubles ranking had reached a career-high number 11, and tennis writers were openly discussing whether the wasted talent label might finally be retired. The 2022 US Open quarterfinal loss to Khachanov is the last time Kyrgios made the second week of a Grand Slam. What followed is 4 years of surgical rebuilding. He withdrew from the 2023 Australian Open with a knee injury and had surgery on January 23rd that year. He returned briefly, playing 1 match in Stuttgart before a serious wrist injury forced him to miss Wimbledon and the US Open entirely. That September, he underwent what his surgeon, Dr. Michael Sandow, later described as a full wrist reconstruction. Not a routine procedure, but the only option to avoid permanent arthritis in a wrist Sandow said left him quite disabled by the time he was examined. The injury was serious enough that Kyrgios missed the entire 2024 season, playing just 1 warm-up match and 1 exhibition set the whole year. Between that knee injury at the 2022 US Open and his return to the tour, Kyrgios played exactly 10 competitive singles matches across roughly 3.5 years. His singles ranking, which had sat at number 13 at its peak, fell out of the top 600 by late 2025 and down to number 1,277 by January 2026 due to the inactivity. During the gap, he worked Wimbledon commentary for the BBC, and TalkSport launched a celebrity interview series called Good Trouble, backed by Naomi Osaka's media company, and took part in exhibition events including a Battle of the Sexes hardcourt match against Aryna Sabalenka in Dubai in December 2025, which he won 6-3, 6-3. In January 2026, with his home Grand Slam approaching, Kyrgios pulled himself out of Australian Open singles consideration entirely, posting that he was fit and back on court, but 5-setters are a different beast, and I'm not quite ready to go the distance yet. He lost in the first round of the Brisbane International to American Alexander Kovacevic instead, his first tour-level singles match in roughly 17 months. His 2026 grass season has followed the same pattern as the rest of the comeback, real but brief. At the Stuttgart Open in June, in his first tournament appearance in 5 months, he beat Corentin Moutet before losing to Shota Mabukuro. In doubles with Bublik, he came back from 2 mini-break deficits in a deciding tiebreak to beat Jakob Paul and Ryan Segerman and reach the quarterfinals, before withdrawing from that exact match with a physical issue. The same pattern of one good result followed by a shutdown that has defined the last 4 years. He enters Wimbledon 2026 ranked number 899 in the world, with a doubles wildcard, a reconstructed wrist, and a knee that has forced him off court twice in the last 3 weeks. His career high was number 13. His career serve speed peaked at 230 kilometers per hour. His career ace average was 14.4 per match. He's now averaging 6.5. The only open question heading into this fortnight is how many matches his body survives before the next withdrawal.